So this is a pretty deep card meaning because it talks a lot about you experiencing a lot of past lives where you depended a lot on working and didn't utilize enough balance when it comes to your experience with life and day-to-day things. Like, you didn't allow yourself to have enough fulfillment. You always felt like you needed to strive and reach certain goals, and you never really got to an understanding of, again, the meaning of life and the meaning of fulfillment. I know that society doesn't really help in this specific circumstance, but a part of that is also because, again, so within, so without, we're creating a reality that reflects something that we've done a lot in past lives. And in this one, we're really learning the fundamentals of life. And I feel like us being in the age of Aquarius is going to help us a lot with reevaluating how these things mean to us, the things that we value, and what it takes for us to really, again, remember what it's like to live and see the true depth and meaning of life. We work a lot because we don't really understand how to connect to existence. We don't really understand how I can have fun and rest and still be able to survive. So how can we for generations, we've lost a lot of that understanding because, again, a lot of societal things. But again, these things happen because we also go through cycles. We need to go through different forms of understanding. It may not always make sense to you, and it may always seem unfair. Everyone has such a very negative perspective of life, and I feel like people validate it so much because it's an excuse to help them validate why they can't accomplish their dreams or step into it or even honor who they truly are deep down inside. It's like we always want to blame and play victim, and we normalize it because it's easier to blame than to be accountable. And I think an example of that is the fact that we don't all live the same life. Everybody isn't struggling. There are people out there who lives on a beach. There's people who have all their expenses always taken care of. They have their own businesses that always has money flowing in. So our perspective is literally our perspective. And again, no, we don't all live the same life. So is your reality a true reality, or is your reality based on the life purpose and the life lessons that you needed in order to accomplish a certain thing, to then eventually experience a life of gratification, I guess, to whatever capacity that you see it. But truly, what does that even truly look like? Because again, I feel like when we have such a negative outlook on life and we have such a difficult time with manifesting and creating, and we end up overworking ourselves, a big part of that is also, one, we manifested as a society, but also two, it's because we're all trying to figure out how to feel good enough. A lot of us struggle with that, and again, we're going to blame everything outside of ourselves because it's easier to say that these are the reasons why I just can't be my greatest version, instead of realizing that you have life lessons that you came here to live. And no, it's not being toxic positive or whatever the case is, being too spiritual. Is the truth. Because again, if it wasn't the case, then a lot of people wouldn't be able to accomplish it, especially people coming out of poverty. I feel like the age and the energy that we're collectively in right now is really trying its hardest to show us the illusions that we live in. A lot of the times, we lived in a very, very layered illusion, and we don't realize that that's another reason why we overwork ourselves or why we try to overly distract ourselves. Because with that, it means that you have to really get to feeling everything that you feel. And so I think because we spend a lot of lifetimes feeling pain and hurt and not finding the conscious willpower to make peace and heal a lot of things, it kind of made us afraid of feeling any more pain. But then the crazy part is we don't realize how we actually bring more pain into our lives because we just want to feel something. So we choose the negative reality because we become afraid of feeling a good one because, again, circling back, we don't feel good enough. So I might as well make my outer reality the villain so that I have a validation to why I'm not allowed to feel good, why I'm not allowed to create a reality that's good for me, and why I fall victim to a lot of attachments, because it's easier for me to do the wrong thing than it is to do the right thing. Because guess what? That means I gotta work on myself. That means I have to heal myself. So fuck it. The world ain't shit, so I don't gotta be shit either. Hence, I'm gonna overwork myself. I'm gonna create a reality out of balance to validate it so that it just makes it easier. So I challenge the collective to work on recreating a positive mindset, and not for the purpose of creating abundance, but for the sanity of your well-being. The purpose is not to create the greatest possible life or to make all the abundance come in. The point is to want to come to a level of self-love that you are willing to be courageous to get through your problems, to be courageous in order to find the solutions, whether it's therapy, whether it is journaling, whether it is finding a spiritual practice. It's more about being willing enough to make the best with what you already got. No, you may have some sort of illness or something that can be stopping you. Yeah, you can have a lot of things outside of you that can be stopping you, but that does not mean that you cannot work on yourself in the meantime. And I know a lot of people will say, but if I'm not in a condition or an environment to work on myself, that's just trying to be unrealistic, and that's unreasonable, and that's toxic. But the truth is, it's really not. I don't think that we take enough accountability for how much excuses we give to stay in the same place, and that's also what this card talks about. The reason why we end up living an overworked life is because we get stuck in belief systems and perspectives of repetition. We keep choosing the same things over and over again, expecting a different result. Definition of insanity based on Einstein. I feel like we misunderstand a lot of things. We misunderstand the purpose of our lives. We misunderstand who we are, and we make a lot of excuses for it. And hence, amongst many things, led us to the state of society and where we are right now. So I challenge you again to work towards creating a better well-being. Take it step by step, day by day, trauma by trauma, happiness by happiness, playfulness by playfulness, to create a reality internally that is your true authenticity. So again, that means debunking illusions. That means having more rest and playtime. That means getting to know yourself. That means asking yourself a lot of questions. It means letting go of a bunch of labels, attachments, perspectives. I need you to really hone in on yourself. Everything was right and everything is wrong. So there's going to be a lot of faults that you can even find in this message. There's going to be a lot of excuses. There's going to be a lot of perspectives. There's going to be a lot of things that you can make of a lot of things. But that's the point. Even in that, you're overworking yourself by trying to find the right answers and find the right truths and find the right ways and figure it all out on what's the right way to do anything. How do I do this if this is just the way the world is? There's a lot of everything, and it's not enough you. I need you to redefine who you are by getting to know who you are. Who are you without all of the distractions and all of the limitations? And how can you start to create an internal reality that mirrors that, where you again work towards becoming an authentic self regardless of challenge, because you have the capability of being courageous, and you will always have an option to get through it. Because if there's a God, there's a way, and if there ain't a way, then I don't know, maybe